Okay, this is all you will need to know pretty much for the kind of last, at least chapter unit test of the year before we review for the final. And the final is only going to be 17 problems. This test here that I'm reviewing for will only be 5 problems. You'll see me do more than 5, but it's 5. There's no problems on your own. You just need to watch and kind of observe. Okay, now this is an empty problem. There's no story problems or any of that, so I got to solve for x and y. So let's begin. Do I have a base? Do I have a letter by itself? No, so there's no base. And now I do my bubbles. These aren't the same and these aren't the same, so we got to use the dot, dot, dot. Don't add them if you don't have anything that's the same. That's just, all that does is make a new full equation. Does me no good. So I have a 2, so 2, 2, and 2. And I have a 6, 6, 6, and 6. So 6x times 2 is 12. By the way, I'm going to write this here, the 6x plus 5y equals 19, because that is used for the second answer. Okay, so I have 12x. 5y times 2 is 10y. And then 19 times 2 is 38. Now on the bottom of that, 2x times 6, that's 12x. 3y times 6, that's 18y. And then 5 times 6 is 30. See, now I have somewhere where I have the same, but they, again, this is not going to work because they're both positive, okay? Because 12 plus 12 is not 0. But if I make them negative, 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 now they're opposites, okay? Now adding opposites of the same thing will give you 0 every time, okay? Remember, you're always plussing it. Okay, so here I take positive 10 plus, not just 18, it's negative 18. So negative 8y. And then equals, and then again I add 38, not plus 30, it's got to be plus negative 30, so that's 8. So then I dot and then divide both sides by negative 8. And that's going to be negative 1. And that's your answer for y. Okay, so now that we have our answer for y, cross that out and put negative 1. So it's 6x plus 5 times negative 1 equals 19. So I take 5 times negative 1, that's negative 5. And then I add 6x before equaling 19. So I got 6 times x, so I need to add 5 to both sides. And that's 24. 6 dot x equals 24. Divided by 6, and 24 divided by 6 is 4. So x is 4, y is negative 1. Okay, the next one. I look at that, I do not see a base, so no base. So circle, circle, circle. These aren't the same and these aren't the same. So again, we're going to have to do the dot, dot, dot. Okay, so what's the bottom number I have here? 8. So 8, 8, 8. Now what's the leading number on top row? 12, 12, 12, and 12. Okay, so 12 times 8 is 96 with x. Negative 7 times 8 is negative 56 with a y. And negative 2 times 8 is negative 16. Okay, now on the bottom, 8 times 12 is 96 with x. Got to use negative 11 times 12 is negative 132 with y. And then negative 14 times 12, that's why you have a calculator here, is negative 168. Okay, so now I can spot somewhere one of the variables where I have the same coefficient and same number in front. It's right here, so we have the same. But again, 96 plus 96 isn't 0. That's just common sense, okay? So you're going to have to make these all opposites. So that's negative. Now 132 is negative, but now it's going to be a positive. And 168 is a negative, but now that's going to be a positive. Okay, so now I add 96 plus negative 90, 0. Okay. I add negative 56 plus, and then is 132 positive or negative? Well, now it's positive, so I need to add 132 as a positive, and that's 76y. Then I take negative 16 and I add. Now is 168 positive or negative? It's positive. Okay, that's 152. So I have 76 times y equals 152. So I divide by 76. Divide by 76. 152 divided by 76 is 2. Okay, so I have my answer for y. Now the x, I just write 12x plus negative 7y equals negative 2. And we have our answer for y as 2, so I will take negative 7 times 2, and that's negative 14. Now I want to add 12x, and then equals negative 2. So I dot my x, circle it. So plus 14. Plus 14. So negative 2 plus 14 is 12. And then I divide by 12, divide by 12, and that is 1. Okay, so x is 1, y is 2. Okay, stay with it here. Now the next one. This one I have a base right here, so I'm going to do this problem completely differently than I did the last two. So if I have a base, I want to box the number up, circle the other side, and then write down the other equation that is not the base. 1x plus 2y equals 11. Now you got to put a parentheses around one of these letters, but it's a letter that's right here all by itself. In this case, in this problem, it would need to be the y. Okay. So I have 1x plus 2, and then parentheses, but we're going to not put anything inside it, equals 11. Now make that parentheses so it is wider, because you got two things to put in there, and you put what the y is equal to, which is 3x plus 2. Okay, now I can solve for x. I do my rainbows. I take 2 times 3, which is 6 with x, and 2 times 2, which is 4 without x. Now I want to cross out the parentheses and the number that was multiplied by it. Before equals, I need to add 1x equals 11. Now these are the same letters, so I draw my adding pyramid, and they're on the same side, so remember that. 6 plus 1 is 7x. And then I plus 4 before I equal out to 11. Okay, so I minus 4, so 7 dot x equals 7, and then divide by 7, and that's 1, so x is 1. Now, when finding the y, you don't need to really do anything other than go into your base, not this one. Don't write anything down here, okay? Because when you have a base, now that you have the x answer, now it says y equals 3 times 1 plus 2. So I just got to find what 3 times 1 plus 2 is. It's 5. Okay? That easy. Again, with the bases to get your other answer, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay? All right, next one. This time we have another base right here. So I box that and then circle its equal. Now I write the other equation. 2x plus negative 1y equals 5. Okay, so I have the x. This time the x is by itself, so that's where I want to put the parentheses. So at 2 parentheses, leave that empty, and then plus negative 1y equals 5. If it's not in a parentheses, just write what it is. Now make that wider. And we will be replacing x with what it equals, which is 1y plus 3. Okay, now we can solve for y. So I go like this. So 2 times 1 is 2y. 2 times 3 is 6, so out. Before equals, I got to add negative 1y equals 5. Okay, now these letters are the same, so we can, and they're on the same side, so we can draw our adding pyramid. So 2 plus negative 1 is 1, so 1y. I need to add 6 before I equal it out to 5. So I'll be dotting the x and circling, and then subtracting 6 from both sides. 5 minus 6 is negative 1, so 1 dot y equals negative 1. And then I can divide by 1, but that's fine. That's negative 1, and that's your y answer. Now, you don't need to write anything. You just go into the base equation, and you have your answer for y. So we now know x is equal to 1 times negative 1 plus 3, okay? 1, negative 1 plus 3, 2. Okay, next problem. A farmer's market is selling apples for $1.99 per pound, and I'm going to make a note to yourself, there's one total cost here. Farmer's market is selling apples for $1.99 per pound, oranges for $1.50 per pound. The market sells 12 pounds of fruit. The total amount of money made is $21.92. How many pounds of apples, how many pounds of oranges were bought? So again, 3 units. So I've got my totals in the corners, and this one is your money total. This row is all about money with totals. Okay, and then how many? That means how many of these things, of these units, and these pounds do I have, and then the money for a single. Okay, and then I got A and O. Okay, there was only one total cost. Well, what was it? It was $21.92. Okay, now let's go decide how we got to that. Now this is for non-money. It's for how much of it we had, non-money. That's got a money. That's got a money. That doesn't. Now read the sentence. Apples, oranges, or neither. The market sells 12 pounds of fruit. Well, it doesn't say if that's apples or oranges, so that's the total. And then X and Y. There need to be 2 different letters in that situation. Now down here, we always want to black out this, okay? I have not used that yet. And this is for actual money. Okay, I see $1.99, and that's for the apples. And I see $1.50, and oranges cost $1.50. Okay, so X times 1.99 is 1.99X. Y times $1.50 is $1.50Y. Okay, now are these 2 letters the same? No, they're not. One's X, one's Y, so you can't draw your adding arrows. You need to make your system. And we have this equation, and you're like, well, where else? Well, up top, X, Y, and 12. So I have X plus Y equals 12, and I've also got 1.99X plus 1.50y equals $21.92. Okay, so these would have, there's no base, so these would have 1s, so no base. So I want to solve it like this. And there's no same in that either, okay? So we need to multiply, dot, 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 dot. So I have 1.99 here, so 1.99, 1.99, 1.99, and I have 1 here, so 1, 1, 1. So 1 times 1.99 is 1.99x plus 1.99y, and then 2 times 12 times 1.99 is 23.88. Okay, and the bottom is just going to be 1.99x plus 1.50y, and then 21.92. Okay. Here's the same. So negative, negative, and negative. Now these will cancel. And now I add 1.99 plus, now it's 1.50 negative, isn't it? So negative 1.50, and that's 0.49y. Okay, and then 23.88 plus, now that's a negative number, so negative 21.92 is 1.96. And now I divide by the 0.49. So 1.96 divided by 0.49 is 4. Okay, now that's your y. Now to get your x, you write 1x plus 1y equals 12. Just go with the very top equation. And we have our answer for y. So 4 times 1 is 4. Not with y, though. It's just 4. So add your 1x in there, equals 12. So minus 4, 1 dot x equals 8, and then divide by 1, and I get 8. Okay, so y is 4. So here's my y, and that's under the oranges. Okay, so there's 4 pounds of oranges and then 8 pounds of apples. Now for the last two videos, last two problems, my battery's about to run out, so I'm going to have to recharge it. For the last two problems, click on the other video up on your screen. I cover those as well. Okay.